In Live on Live today, we turn our focus to something called the natural hair movement, which encourages women of African descent to wear their hair unrestrained in its coiled or curly state. The movement began in the United States, but it's gained traction around the world, and in French-speaking countries, it's known as the mouvement nappy. That's a fusion of the words natural and happy. Today's guest is a proponent of the natural hair movement. She's the Franco-Senegalese writer, journalist and filmmaker Rokhaya Diallo, who's also known for her activism supporting racial, gender and religious equality. You're very welcome to the program, Rokhaya.
Thank you, Amanda, for inviting me.
Along with the photographer Brigitte Sombier, you've launched an exhibition of images from your book entitled Afro, which shows Parisians of African origin who choose natural hairstyles. Wearing Afro hair unrestrained has become a bit of a militant act. Firstly, tell us, why is the hair of black or mixed women so political?
I think that the bodies of women are political because beauty for women is something that really creates lots of pressure, and being close to certain standards is very important in the way women display themselves. And the pressure is greater on black women and on women of African descent because they are not really close to the standards that are promoted by the media, by the female magazines. And mostly black women from African descent, even women from North African descent, are invited to wear their hair straightened or to hide them. So deciding to wear them without transforming them is somehow political, because when you make such a choice, you go against what the society invites you to do.
So precisely what sort of political statement does it make? I mean, is it about freedom and feminism? Is it more about culture and heritage and identity? Or also, is it possible for women who wear natural hair to do it just because they choose to wear their hair that way and make that choice free of any political choice?
Yes, of course, it's a free choice, and it's not always a political statement. But wearing, curly hairs in a world where most of the black women, the prominent black women, don't have such hair, don't wear the hair in such manner, has a political meaning. So I think that it's a sense of pride, of freedom, and it goes against everything that says that being black is not being beautiful. And it's creating that exhibition with the photographer Brigitte Sombier was to me a way to show and to display an alternative image of Paris with other faces than the faces that we are used to associate with Paris. Usually when you think about Paris, you think about Inès de la Fressange or other models like Caroline de Maigret. And in the exhibitions, we tried to complete the family picture, showing people like Aïssa Maga, the actress Aïssa Maga, or the singer Imani or Ina Moja, who is a singer as well, as belonging to the Parisian beauty.
Okay, so a contrast between models that have smooth or straight hair, conforming to this ideal of European beauty, a contrast between those and celebrities who have less tamed Afro hair.
Yes, definitely. It's because when you show yourself publicly, it's very difficult to show yourself as wearing your hair at their natural state. And myself, when I first started television 8 years ago, I received lots of very encouraging emails saying, oh my God, it's the first time I see on French TV a dark-skinned black woman wearing natural hair and speaking about something very serious. Because you tend not to associate my appearance with what I say as a political journalist. So that's something I really kept in my mind, saying that I would like to contribute and to show other other people who are models, who are singer, or who can be teachers or accountants, and who decided to make that statement. Even if it's a beauty choice, it's also a way to say that France is a diverse country.
So the nappy hair movement, is it generational, or does it resonate with Black women of all ages?
I think it's somehow generational because I didn't have any trouble finding people when I started to make the book and to look for people to be in the book to be featured in the book. I didn't have any trouble finding people from, in their 20s. But when it came to women who were in their 50s, in their 60s, it was much more difficult because I think that those women had so much to fight about when they were younger that then they couldn't handle everything that was going against racism. And we can see that today, and it's not only the natural hair movement, but generally people tend to be more attracted to natural things like organic food, taking care about themselves, and the natural hair movement is a part of that global movement.
The afro was embraced by celebrities such as Diana Ross, the Jackson 5, but its popularity started to wane after that. Why do you think this is? Did it lose its political edge because perhaps it became too mainstream?
I don't think it was that mainstream at that time, but I think that something happened is that products to relax hair became more affordable. It was easier in the 80s to access products, chemical products, or even fake hair to put them on your head. So that's one of the reasons why it became so popular. And I think that nowadays generations are making a quite different statements saying that you need to accept me the way I am. We are part of the society, and we don't want to harm our bodies in order to fit to a certain standard that is very, very far from the way we look like. And I think it's a kind of backlash because the today's generation have seen how badly the former generations have tried to integrate. And that even though they haven't been that accepted, they have been exposed to police brutality, to racism. So that means that you don't need to transform yourself to be accepted, because even if you do the more that you can do to look like to look like the European standards, you will still be seen as someone other. So as you other, you'd better embrace who you are in the largest way.
So how much courage does it take these days to go natural?
It depends on what you do. I'm sure it's way easier to go natural when you're an artist, when you're a minister like Christiane Taubira, who was the Minister of Justice in France and who is in the exhibition. It's probably easier than when you are an employee and that you have to be, the face of a company and you don't have that much power to decide of, the outfit that you can wear at your work, at your workplace, and the way you can, have your hairdo. So I think it's really a matter of where you are in the society. And I've noticed that most of the people that are interviewed are, in the middle class, and most of them are intellectuals or artists, because those are the people who can afford to choose very freely the way they want to wear the hair.
And now, how strict is the hairstyle going natural? Does it mean wearing hair completely untamed and free of any chemical straighteners? Or are twists and braids allowed, for example?
It's up to the people. I don't want to be like a kind of, it's not a dictatorial movement that says you need to be totally unchemical and totally nappy. Some of the people who were portrayed in the book and in the exhibition sometimes are, have the hair totally free, and sometimes they have like fake hair because they're actors, they need to look in a certain way for a film, or they just want to change. And it's not something that, to me, that is contradictory to being proud of yourself. The only thing that matters to me is that when you make a choice, you make it freely and without, thinking of fitting to something that is out of you.
Is natural hair, just curious, is it easier or harder to maintain?
I think it can be harder because many people have lost, the practice that used to be the one that the ancestors used to. So we need to relearn everything that has been lost through generations. So at the beginning, it's difficult, but then when you have all the tips, it can be very easy.
To someone who hasn't given it much thought, the idea of smooth hair as being seen as desirable might not seem very controversial. But there's also an argument that Western beauty ideals have erased the differences between women and standardized women. Is this something you view as being particularly damaging?
Yes, I think so, because you can see even in Asia that women would have surgery for to reshape their eyes. You have people in Africa or even in Europe who bleach their skin. So, and it can really provoke cancers or things like that. So it means that it can be not only psychologically damageable, but also for your own health. Not accepting your appearance can really lead you to make choices that could really damage your own health.
Now let's focus on your exhibition Afro now, which is showing in the 11th arrondissement or district of Paris at the Maison des Métallos until the end of October. The photos taken from the book, they are taken from your book Afro,
Yes.
which places hair at the center of self-esteem and identity issues. Tell us about the photos themselves and the sort of context in which they're taken.
So first of all, Paris is one of the characters of the photos. We decided to ask to all the people that were portrayed to pick a place in Paris that was meaningful to them. So it was either a place the place where they were born, or where they worked, or where they live, because we wanted really to show these people with a background of Paris, because usually when you think about Paris, don't really think about a very multicultural city, even if it is a multicultural city. So we wanted to show a different face of Paris. And the other thing is that we wanted to have all the ranges of ages. So the youngest who was portrayed was DJ Gloria Colston, who is French American. She was DJ at 10 years old already when we photographed her. And the oldest one is a Senegalese man who was at that time 79 years old. And, in between we have people from, with different backgrounds. Most of them are French, but with origins in Morocco, Senegal, the French West Indies, South America, even Middle East. We wanted to have really a large picture of, the diversity in Paris.
So there's at least one man in the exhibition. Are there others?
There are several, actually. I think that men are maybe 20% of the people who were portrayed. So you have even, celebrities like the rapper Youssoufa, who wear dreadlocks. We have Stevie Gustave, who is an elected official. He was very, very long dreadlocks. And it's interesting to see someone who is involved in local politics and who has a very, very formal position, having the dreadlocks that are usually associated with cliches like drugs, like unprofessional people. And he told us a lot about the way he was seen before starting to work as being a local elected official.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
And just lastly, obviously, the mentality behind the book and the exhibition, it's about changing social norms. What do you hope that your work will do and what do you hope that the natural hair movement will do for society?
When I started to work on the book and then on the exhibition, I thought about myself as a kid, as a little girl. I didn't have, being a French girl, I didn't have any people looking like me on TV in the public space to refer to as people that would inspire me as a black little French girl. And I think that the first goal I had with this exhibition was to inspire younger people, to tell to kids, to young girls, and even young boys, that it was possible to be black, to be Arab, and to have natural hair, and to be whatever you want to be, and to be beautiful at the same time. You have in the exhibition the former top model, Christelle Saint-Louis Augustin, who is, she was a model, so she's still a model and an actress, and she's beautiful, and she's been able to be a model with a big afro. So to me, that's helping young people to make their own choices, not being restrained by the idea that the way they look like doesn't correspond to success or or ambition.
Rokhaya Diallo, thank you very much for being on the program today.
Thank you so much.